Hello, welcome to episode 211 of the Datapack and Resource Pack tutorials for version 1.2 1.5. We're doing a dyeable elytra. Now, a little bit of waffling to start. You can do this in 1.2 1.4, and it works better actually. I'll tell you why in a minute. But you can't make a recipe. You have to do 1.2 1.5, it seems, to get a recipe. So if you're doing a mini-map and you just want to give people different colours, 1.2 1.4 is fine. But if you want them to be able to craft it, 1.2 1.5. Now, why do I say 1.2 1.4 is better? It's because you can actually dye it white. And I've tried doing it in 1.2 1.5 and I can't. If I do a white dye, it just stays looking the same. But every other colour seems to work. Anyway, waffling on. Let's make one. Okay, ignore the chest and these. These are from the Datapack Infernal Editions. I just leave stuff here. So let's add there. There we go. We've dyed it purple. Nice and simple. So let's make a copy of that. Put it up there. Let's stick it there. Let's put it on. And it should still be purple when I'm wearing it. Yeah, okay. I've got a purple elytra. Nice. Okay. Well, let's get on and build it now. Now, you don't need the data pack unless you want to make the recipe. You can just set it all up using the resource pack. I'll tell you what, we'll go over to, we'll do the resource pack first, I think. So let's go back. So this one here is a data pack. In fact, I'll shrink that one down. We don't need it. This one's the resource pack. And then we have, look at assets. And then we go into Minecraft and we've got equipment and items. Let's just empty it. So let's take out this one. And let's go into equipment and take out that one. Delete. Okay. Now I'm going to go back and do an F3 and T and reload the resource pack. And we should find, sort of hopefully, we've broken it. Now you can still see the colour is on there because that's being controlled by the recipe from the data pack. But it just looks normal because we don't have the resource pack set up. So let's do the resource pack. Right. I think, well, we don't need that and we don't need that. Let's start with equipment. Okay, in here we'll make a new text document. And we want to get rid of the extension. We'll call it elytra.json. Yes, please. Okay, let's go to Misode. And we want all generators. And we want to find the equipment one with the big green resource pack. There it is. Big green resource pack icon. Equipment. Let's open up the preset for elytra. Okay. And this is really simple, this one. All we're going to do is we're going to click on Dyeable. Right, that's it. That's all we're going to do. We are not going to have a default color unless you wanted to set a default color. I am just going to literally leave that like that. I don't think we need to change anything there. So let's just copy that. But we've made the equipment dyeable. Now, if you're just doing a normal item, you won't have an equipment thing. But for things that you wear, so I suppose it's going to be all the armor and stuff, you'll need an equipment file. Let's take this back to the resource pack and let's put it into our equipment and we'll just do that and we'll save it. Now, remember we're in the Minecraft directory, assets, Minecraft namespace. So we're overriding the Minecraft equipment. Now let's go into items and we'll basically do the same. We'll have a new text document. We will call it elytra.json. I do want to change it, please. We'll open that. And we'll do what we just did again. We'll go to Misode. This time, though, we are going to want the resource pack item. So let's go down to item resource pack. That's the one we want. And again, we'll just open the elytra preset. Elytra. And we're going to add some tints. Okay, so let's click on tints. We've got two lots. One if the model is broken and one if it's not broken. So we'll do it for both. So we're going to add a tint, and what do we want? Dye. Default, we will put as a list. I can't get this to work very well. If you put zeros, it's going to come out black, and I think if you change it to anything else, it's going to start going transparent. So we're going to put strangely enough, minus 255 in here, in each of these. And we'll do the same for this one. Tints type will be dye. Default will be a list. So this list is RGB. Minus 255. Minus 255. And we'll leave it like that. And we'll just copy that now. Okay, let's copy that one. Take it. No, we're not going to take it to the resource pack. We're going to put it into our Elytra items file. Let's save that. Okay, let's go back. Let's reload the texture pack. Now it should still be loaded. We'll have a little look. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so it's picked up on the color. Cool. Well, that works fine. How do you get one though? And for that, we're going to use the Datapack. So let's reload the Datapack, and it should no longer have a recipe. Yep, I've removed the recipe now. So let's do the recipe so we can so the player can craft one. Well, I'll tell you what. We'll look at the give command first. Here we go. Give elytra dyed color equals. Now we can get that color quite nicely. Let's do a little experiment, and I'll show you what I mean by the white. So let's not go here. No, I don't think that one's going to help me much. Let's go back to... Actually, we'll go to recipe, and we'll start building the recipe. And we will have a crafting transmute recipe. The input will be a string. I'm going to input an elytra. And the material I'm going to use, let's do the white dye. And I'll show you what I mean. Well, I'll call it purple dye. Because let's do a different color. Let's do green. There we go. We'll do green. Green dye. And the result will be an object. And it will be an elytra. And it will have... Do you want to go in there? And it will have a component. The component will be dyed color. What color do we want? Okay. Now, let me do this as white. So we can put RGB in here. So let's do 255, 255, 255. White. And we'll take that. We'll copy it. Take it to our Datapack. We will pop it into our namespace recipe elytra purple. Okay. Let's go back. Let's do a reload. Put it in there. We got nothing. That is not what I expected. I expected to get at least an elytra. But let's have a look at what we did. I bet I used the wrong color dye, didn't I? Yeah, look, we've done green dye and I've tried to put purple in. Well, that's going to be a simple fix, isn't it? It's always nice when it's an easy fix. Although it's a bit depressing when the fix is easy because you were so silly in the first place. There we go. And you'll see it says white. FFFFF. That's the hex code for white. But it looks exactly the same. Now, we change that to any other color. So let's go in here and we can pick red. There we go. And then we'll just take that number. That's all we need. We'll just take that number and we'll put that in there. Save that. Take it back. Do a reload. Now we got a bit of a red. So, as I say, white seems to do nothing. I'm wondering if it's some sort of transparency thing and it's treating white as transparent. So it's not actually changing the color. So let's get our green. That should work. We'll just put it into in there like that, and we'll do a save. And we'll go back. So as you can see, we've got green now. So every single color seems to work apart from white. So maybe white dye just, I don't know, resets it back to default in your Datapack. However, we do have some other options. We don't have to do an integer. We can do a list. And in the list, let's say 255, 255, 255. Now that is the RGB for white. But when you notice over here, it's a little bit different now. We've got the three values instead of the one integer. So let's copy that. And let's take that And let's replace our recipe with that. So we're now using RGB values, which should make it white, if it worked. And if we look, it now looks yellow, which is strange to me. I haven't figured out how to fix this yet. So any color you want, as long as it's not white. But if we look at that hex value, we've got FFF. That's white. I wonder what that 01 is. I don't know why that's appeared. I wonder if that's something to do with transparency. I mean, if you put white over the top of grey, surely you don't get yellow. So, as I say, you can have any colour you want as long as you don't want white. And I cannot work out that white thing. If you did this in version 1.2, 1.4, it comes out as a nice white elytra. But you can't have a recipe. So everything should work in 1.2, 1.4 apart from the recipe. And in 1.2, 1.5, I can get everything to work except dyeing it white. I'll have a play around a bit. I've asked Gal Sergey, who gave me the commands in the first place. So thank you very much. Apparently he's tested. Oh, a live message literally just come through. Apparently he's tested it on 1.2, 1.8 and it works. But he didn't use the recipe. Anyway, enough waffling. I'll leave it there for now. If anyone finds a solution, chuck it in the comment. I'll pin it down. If I find the solution myself, I might make a little update video for this one. Right, I've got to go. Busy day. So you enjoy the rest of your day. Take care, and I'll see you all soon. Bye-bye.